The first time Commander Rylan saw her, she was crouched beside a trash chute on Outpost Data 9, gnawing at discarded nutrient packs like a stray animal. Filthy, thin, and trembling, the small alien girl barely noticed the boots that stopped beside her. "Hey," Rylan said softly. She froze. Her head snapped up, huge, luminous eyes the color twilight locked onto his face. Her sharp teeth bared, a defensive hiss escaping her throat. The metal collar around her neck rattled as she backed away, fingers curled like claws. Rylan didn't move. "I'm not going to hurt you." The girl didn't believe him. Why would she? Everyone here treated aliens like cargo at best, vermin at worst, especially the ones orphaned by war. Theta 9 was a supply depot, not a refugee camp. No one had noticed or cared when this child slipped through some bureaucratic crack and ended up scavenging like a rodent. No one except Rylan. He crouched slowly, setting a warm meal pack on the floor between them. She stared at it, then at him. Her eyes narrowed. Rylan smiled. "You can have it." She lunged forward, snatched the pack, and scampered back to her corner, tearing it open with needle-sharp teeth. She devoured the contents in seconds, not even chewing. When she was done, she licked the wrapper clean. Rylan stood. "I'll come back tomorrow." He kept his promise. Every day, he brought her food. He spoke gently. Never tried to touch her. Never chased her when she ran. After a week, she stopped hiding when he approached. After 2, she let him sit beside her. By the 3rd week, she offered him half her stolen crust of bread. "No, keep it," he said, touched. "You need it more." The alien girl blinked. "Ryan." "That's me," he chuckled. "And you?" She pointed to herself. "Ari." He hadn't expected an answer. "Ari. That's a beautiful name." She tilted her head. "Means starflower. In Nreli." Nreli. That explained the ears, long and downy like a desert hare, the mottled skin, the tail. Her kind had been nearly wiped out in the border wars. Most people called them primitive. Savages. But Ari was no savage. She was clever. She mimicked sounds, learned quickly, and had a laugh that made Rylan smile no matter how hard his day had been. More than once, he asked himself why he cared so much. He had no family, no home planet to return to. His time in the military had left him more machine than man. But something in Ari had cracked through the armor. She reminded him what it meant to protect someone. Not orders, not strategy, but care. One day, he found her gone. Panic bloomed in his chest. He searched the chute, the vents, the old cargo bays. Nothing, until a security droid led him to the processing wing. Ari was in a cage. Her hands were cuffed. Blood crusted her lip. She was caught stealing from the officer's mess. A guard said, "We're shipping her off-world tomorrow. Can't have stray aliens contaminating food. She's just a kid. Not our problem." Rylan stared at the shivering bundle in the cell. She looked smaller than ever, like all the hope had been sucked from her bones. He made a decision then. It took every favor, every credit, and more than a few threats. But by the next sunrise, Ari was in his quarters, curled in a blanket, eyes wide with disbelief. "You're free now," he said. "No cages. No collars." She looked down at the metal band on her neck. "May I?" he asked. She nodded. With a gentle twist, the collar clattered to the floor. She flinched. Then she launched into his arms, sobbing, her tiny fingers digging into his jacket. Rylan held her, fighting his own tears. "You're safe, Ari," he whispered. "You're safe." Weeks passed. Ari bloomed. She wore clean clothes, brushed her hair, started drawing pictures on Rylan's datapad. Strange, beautiful art filled with suns and stars and towering trees. She read stories, asked questions. She even began to sing in her soft, chirping language. But it wasn't until the diplomatic envoy arrived that her world truly changed. The Nreli ambassador came in regal silks, guarded by warriors with ivory masks. He walked the station with disdain, nose wrinkled at the stench of steel. But when he passed Rylan's quarters, he froze. His eyes locked onto Ari. She froze, too. Then she hissed something sharp in her native tongue. The ambassador reeled, then dropped to one knee. "Princess." Rylan blinked. "Wait, what?" Ari shrank behind him. The ambassador rose slowly. "She bears the royal markings, the pattern on her cheeks, the eyes. She is of the bloodline. But she's just She is Arikana, daughter of the fallen queen. We thought her lost." Rylan looked down at the girl, who'd once eaten scraps like a dog. who had learned to smile again, who held his hand every night before sleeping, whispering that he was her safe star. A princess? He knelt beside her. Is it true? Ari looked torn. Then she nodded. Mother, gone. Palace gone. I ran. The ambassador bowed again. She must return. Our people need her. Rylan's heart clenched. What if she doesn't want to? The ambassador blinked. She is heir. She's also a child. They turned to Ari. Her eyes flicked between them, between blood and bond. Then she took Rylan's hand. I go, she said, but not without Rayen. So he went, not as a soldier, not as a guard, but as her protector, her family. On the lush homeworld in Relly, they bathed her in starlight, draped her in robes. She stood before thousands, no longer hiding in shadows, but shining. And when asked who had saved her, she pointed not to kings or gods, but to the weary human beside her. He saw me, she said, voice steady regal. Not as trash, not as beast, but as girl, as child, as princess. The crowd bowed, and Rylan? He bowed last, not to royalty, but to the girl who had reminded him how to be human.